Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so happy to have our next guest. They're very involved in the Chamber of Commerce for many, many years, and it's been such a great opportunity to see this firm grow and do some incredible work. And as you know, we're facing some challenging times as immigrants, children of immigrants, and in the fourth largest city in America and in this country, there's a lot of confusion. And unfortunately, there's a big need to make sure that we're communicating information that people can use so that they understand their rights, know where to go, know what to do, and especially in this day and age, have a family plan. And so specifically, we want to talk to Daniel Ramirez, who's been a named partner at Monty and Ramirez LLP. He's very involved here and he's done a lot of different organizations and activities. But certainly, Daniel, we want to definitely take just a moment to say thank you for the work that you and the firm are doing, have done, and for advocating for so many people on so many topics. And it's a challenging time. So if you would please, Danny, just walk us through from your perspective, what are some of the things that our business owners can do to know their rights? Let's start with that.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Number one, it's the Latino community is important to me, so always happy to help. You're right. I think employers, not just in Houston, but throughout the nation, have to understand that there's been a significant shift with ICE enforcement. And I think in the news, we've seen a lot of enforcement where, unfortunately, they're, pursuing and arresting undocumented folks. But from the employer compliance perspective, they're also aggressively knocking on employers' doors to make sure that employers are compliant with immigration laws. And it's not so much that ICE is looking to arrest the workers that the companies are employing, but they're truly going after companies for monetary fines. They want money. They want to know if companies are complying with the law. And if not, they're being very aggressive to issue fines that are pretty hefty. I'll give you an example. Fortune 500 company, Fortune 10 company was audited just recently, and they're having to pay $25 million in this type of investigation. So it's not just, small mom and pop companies that are non-compliant. We're talking about the Fortune 10 companies that think they have A+ compliance that are also getting hefty fines. So I think in a nutshell, Laura, I think your members should know that they have to deal with a lot of compliance issues. And they have to make sure that they put this immigration compliance on the front end and not the back end, because once ICE shows up, it's too late to start or vet your compliance plan. At that stage, ICE is already vetting to make sure that you're in compliance. And if you're not, you're going to face, what they do and issue fines and related compliance components.
So if you already have an attorney and you have a business, get a jump start on it. Make sure that you are compliant. If there's something missing, handle it on the front end.
Yeah.
Just in the event that you get called upon, because then you're going to be in the middle of it. Okay, so that's one thing. Let's go back to people are out there minding their business and they get pulled over. Like, what are their rights? And I'm just saying by constable, HPD, anyone, ICE, what are your rights?
Right. So if you're driving down the street and you get pulled over for whatever reason, what we're seeing is a twofold initiative. For the most part, it's our deputy sheriffs or city police officers policing the streets. And there are agreements with these officers to cooperate with ICE because they receive federal funding. So that's what we're seeing when they're checking someone's license plate or asking you for a driver's license. They are vetting to identify whether or not that individual is authorized to work. And so what we're seeing, unfortunately, is if I'm undocumented and I get pulled over, then I'm going to be detained for that reason, and I could get handed over to ICE. But at the end of the day, I think what we need to advise folks in the street are that you do have rights. People should not be just asking you randomly off the street if you're walking down the street, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. And you have the Fifth Amendment not to answer those questions. But at the end of the day, look, I think each situation is going to be different. I think taking a step back, you want to make sure that you're not put in a position to get pulled over in the first place, right? So you want to be as compliant as possible. But if you're in that situation, comply with the police officer. I think just go through that process. I think the other question you're asking, Dr. Murillo, is the more aggressive ICE tactics that we've seen. They've been stopping their vehicles at construction sites and creating a traffic stop there where they're asking individual workers, are you authorized to work? It's an unfortunate situation, but I mean, the federal government is being that active because under this administration, they've set forth a quota, believe it or not, of around 3,000 arrests per day. That's what this administration wants ICE to do. And the reality is they're not hitting 3,000. They're hitting about 1,500, maybe 1,000 per day. And think about it. If you give any salesman a high quota, that's going to make them push the envelope. It's going to make them do things outside the norm. And that's what we're seeing with ICE. I mean, all the activity you see on the news or just the activity you see everywhere, it's simply because of this high quota. And these folks, these officers have to try to comply with that. And that's why we're seeing these aggressive tactics, unfortunately.
So what else would you like to share with the audience that you think from a lawyer's perspective is important to know, anything that they can control?
Yeah, I think let's talk on the employer side, and then I'll go to like the individual family side. Employers need to have a plan of action. So a lot of times, employers think about what if the police show up or what if an investigator shows up. They need to have a plan of action if ICE shows up. Because if ICE shows up to your company, you don't have to give them access unless they have a valid warrant. And those are the rights that companies need to know, is that they just can't go in the back of the offices and take records or speak to employees. They need a warrant for that. So I think they need a plan of action to know whoever interacts with that front end individual that shows up, ICE, is that they need to be trained about what they need to be asking. Do you have a warrant? And even if they have a warrant, what access is it giving? Okay. That's, I think, the employer side. Now, Dr. Murillo, I think on the family side, if they show up to our house and say, is John Jones in this house? You don't have to give them access to your house unless they have a warrant. I think I've seen a lot of videos on social media when ICE is showing up with what's called an administrative warrant. And there's a distinction. An administrative warrant is something signed by their supervisor, which doesn't give them access to your house. Now, if they have a federal warrant signed by a judge, that's different. But I would bet $5 that majority of time they don't have that federal warrant to access your house. So a family member needs to know too, you don't have to give them access unless they have that federal right. So I think there's similar initiatives. Have a plan of action, know your rights, and don't give anybody access unless they have that right to enter your house or business.
And we've talked about it before we went on air, is that every family, I mean, we live in a city that is prone to hurricanes, right?
Right.
Or we have family members who don't live in the same city. And so if the cell service goes out or we lose power for 4 days, that every family should have some type of a family plan. And if you're fortunate enough to have an attorney on speed dial, it's probably a good thing to go ahead and have someone that you can call. Not everyone does. So maybe, as you mentioned, it could be a religious leader. It could be a leader in the community, someone who knows you well, that can at the very least make sure that they can try to make some phone calls for you. If you have children who are underage, making sure that they have some phone numbers at home of people that they can call in the event something goes down or happens, or you get pulled over and they don't know what to do. So this is the time that we live in, and this is why the work that you and your colleagues with the Hispanic Business Association of Lawyers and so many other lawyers groups are so important, because you're providing pro bono services to individuals and families who need it. And so again, Danny, thank you so much for all you do, but I want to give you the last word. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I think I'm going to go back to something I said earlier. Both in the family and business side, I think we need to be proactive and come up with our action plan now, because once ICE shows up or ICE is interacting with you, it's a high stressful situation. It creates panic and stress, and it's hard to create a plan of action at that point. So be very proactive on the business side to ensure that, you are training folks to ensure that they know what they're doing now, whether you're getting investigated or if it's a raid where they're showing up with a criminal warrant. And likewise, from the family side, talk to church members, talk to family members, and identify leaders that if you don't have an attorney, at least you have a person that might help you in that emergency situation. So I think it's very important to spend time now to proactively plan for that worst case scenario.
Very well. Well, Danny, to you and the entire team, thank you so much for all you do. We'll be seeing you very soon. And if you're watching, again, we ask you to please visit our website at HoustonHispanicChamber.com for sponsorship opportunities, networking events, etc. We'll see you then. And Danny, see you real soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our television program. We're so excited to have you here. We want to remind everyone to please visit our website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. Lots of information about upcoming events, how your business can be growing and thriving as a result of networking and collaborating with others. And also, if you're a corporation, you want to be a corporate sponsor, there's lots of opportunities there as well. Again, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. Today, we welcome one of our members. She's an entrepreneur. She's out there doing great things. You're going to learn more about her and her business. And her name is Tanez Chowdhury. She's president and CEO of Tanez Global Management, Inc. She's going to tell us all about her business and what it is that she does. So let's hear, first of all, tell us about your business and what you do and how you stay competitive for over 3 decades. Congrats.
Well, thank you. The business is the business of technology. The name of the company is Tanez Global Management, Inc. We are a family-owned business that has been doing technology solutions for the last almost 3 decades. And the one way I could say that we've been in business successfully is the fact that we've created relationships. People can buy what they buy from anywhere. The reason they buy from us is because of relationships. And that's also the reason why we like the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, is we feel like it's all built on relationships. You being out there in the community and bringing the community focus back on the chamber is kind of a circle, right? And that's how Tanez also likes to work, the circle of relationships.
Yeah.
Big integrators, they rotate, people come, people go, but relationships, they stay, positions come and go. Technology moves, as we all know, really, really fast. So having somebody there that can anchor and can serve as a trusted partner becomes really important in the long run.
Well, thank you for that. Congratulations again. I know it's a very competitive market, but I also know you take your business very seriously. You're very competent. You give great advice. So for people watching now, tell us a little bit about cybersecurity and how you help clients figure out what they need.
So, Dr. Laura, cybersecurity is only going to increase from here. People think that it's a new buzzword. It's not. We've been doing cybersecurity solutions and solutions with a security focus since we started. So technology as it evolves is going to need security around it. And that's going to be one of the most important components of the next gen of technology and products in technology. So honestly, today, every business is the business of technology, if you think about it, right? Even if you're running a large corporation or you're running an ice cream shop from your house, you still need a point of sale system. You still need to know about the inventory, about the ingredients, your cost of goods and services, right? So how important is that for you? And how important is it to keep that information secure? Because as we know, cybersecurity is actually the foundation of everything technology. And you want to make sure that with the advent of AI and faster compute and faster technology releases, you want to make sure what you're building is built on something secure. And cybersecurity is just a foundation. For us as a technology company, we've been very security focused, like I mentioned, and it all starts with an honest assessment, right? It's looking at what you have to ensure that your foundation is secure. And that is where Sanchez comes in, because we don't just build on stuff. We want to right size stuff for you. We want to ensure your foundational technology, your office requirements, your line of business is being met with, because it means nothing if it means nothing to you.
So one of the other things that sets you apart is the fact that you're certified because you do a lot of work in the private and public sectors. What does that mean again for not only your business, but for your clients that you serve?
So it's really important for the accounts that we serve, for the small to mid-sized market, to recognize that when we work in the public and the private sector, we are one of those companies that serves as a conduit, right? We could bring the best of breed products and services because that becomes our baseline. The fact that we are serving the public sector makes sure that we are best of breed in what we are doing. And if it's good enough for your city, for your police department, then there's a strong chance that the suggestions we are making are going to be good enough for your small to mid-sized business as well. So we are able to scale up and scale down as needed. So we want to, again, right size. We're not that company that wants to sell everyone everything all the time. That is not who we are.
Well, on that point, let's get to the question as it relates to small businesses.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
as we look at AI, if you were brought in, let's say, to a business, what are some very specific things that you could help with immediately for those businesses?
Right. So AI has been an absolute buzzword, and how can small businesses leverage that is through automations, right?
Okay.
Immediate automations, immediate scheduling, reporting, things that take your staff hours upon hours upon hours can be now delivered in minutes. And that is how we could do this. Again, right sizing for your business. So it is even more important for small businesses to create a presence. AI can be used to create a presence. You can have bots in your company managing the monotonous day-to-day automatic tasks that can be automated, so they can now leave your staff to do the more progress-oriented tasks, right? That allows you to grow. Now you are able to have somebody respond on the automation, and you know that the responses are going to be what you've delivered, what you want them to know about you. You could have marketing as a bot, right? Marketing as a service. You could have certain accounts that are report generating accounts that can have that reporting automated for you. You could have your front desk automated where it responds after hours. Things like that, that give you that opportunity that allows small business to have that global impact that they are looking for, or at least a larger footprint within the community.
Well, we thank you for all that you're doing. We thank you for the work that you have provided to so many public and private businesses, for being involved in the chamber throughout the community. I see you out there again in person, connecting with people. And so our thanks to you and the entire Sanchez Global Management Inc. team for being with us. Have a super day, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We hope everyone is doing well, and we encourage you to please visit our website at HoustonHispanicChamber.com for information about upcoming events and opportunities for your business, your non-for-profit, your corporations, and ways to partner with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, our guest is President of the Houston Mortgage Bankers Association, and he is Spiro Patricis. Welcome, Spiro. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here today.
Well, thank you so much. And this is an interesting time. I know that the Federal Reserve has been having a lot of conversations about interest rates and what's going to happen. But I also know that in Houston, some people aren't waiting for that. They're taking full advantage of whatever opportunities are available. And we talk a lot with bankers, with realtors, with brokers, etc. So from your vantage point, talk to us about first-time homeowners and what opportunities may present themselves.
That's a great question. I'll tell you why, because I got three young daughters. One is in the workforce, just entered in the workforce, and two are in college. So we're having similar conversations. And reality is that there's a lot of first-time home buyers that are coming in the market every day. And the million-dollar question is, do I buy or I rent? So the example that I give to my daughters, and we'll give it to all first-time home buyers, is don't be afraid of the rates. The rates are, it is what it is. The rates have been a lot higher than what they are today, but we have to also, understand that rates are kind of high today. Rates will remain high this year. I mean, there's no, negotiations on that. But if you look at, the privileges between buying or renting, when you purchase and you have that dream of home ownership, you purchase a house, you build wealth, you build equity. If you wait for a year or two, and let's assume that you're renting, when you rent, you don't see that money back. And plus, when you rent that same, or you try to buy that property a year later than today, guess what? That price has gone up. Houston has to, it's a relocation sweet spot. So prices do go up no matter what, the rate environment is doing. So it's always a good time for first-time home buyers to entertain, home ownership. And not only that, there's a lot of products out there for first-time home buyers, a lot of grant money that banks are putting out there that first-time home buyers can take advantage. So I think it's a perfect time for home buyers to dive into the market.
So let's talk about that. And I know that there are people who say, well, you know what? I'm going to lock in the price, as you mentioned, because it's only going to increase. I can't do anything about the rate other than make sure that the person's credit score, for example, right? That they're preparing themselves to get the best rate they can, but there's
Correct.
always refinancing. So how soon after someone, let's say today, they close their home and they lock in their rate, how soon can they go and try to refinance? And what makes sense? What's appropriate for refinancing?
So there's a saying in the mortgage industry that you marry the property and you date the rate. So
You marry the property and you date the rate. Very
correct.
good. Okay. So
So
what's the timeline on the dating part? Let's say again,
the
you
dating
locked it in today.
the dating part, the dating part, I would say there's no time frame. So number one, let's talk about rate. So the average first-time home buyer, let's say that the purchase price is anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000. The higher the higher the loan amount, when rates drop a quarter or 0.5%, it makes sense. But if the loan amount is not that high, sometimes you have to wait for that rate to drop about 1%, right? So what I would recommend is when you do the math, obviously there's going to be closing costs. So closing costs on a $200,000-300,000 loan is going to be about $5,000. So you have to kind of look at how much money you're saving with that rate reduction and how much money is it costing you to do that refinance. So I would say, if today's average rate is about 6.5 for a first-time home buyer, when they see the rate going to 5.5 or high fives, it might be a good time to refinance. The other piece is you have mortgage insurance or you don't. So is it time that you can get around that mortgage insurance with a refinance, especially on an FHA loan? That's another line item to look at, of how to reduce your monthly payment. So the answer is, the timing, it all depends on, the rate environment and the consumer's, situation with their specific mortgage.
Understood. And this is where you come in and all of the many individuals who are experts and our friends over at Prosperity Bank who work with you and with so many other individuals that are in this home environment. So tell us a little bit about Prosperity's environment as it relates to mortgages in Houston.
So Prosperity, as you all know, we're a community, a regional bank. We've been in Houston for many years. Some feedback around, Prosperity. Prosperity really grew through acquisition. It started out in the rural markets of, Texas, and then through acquisition, they became, larger and larger. The one thing that I absolutely love, with Prosperity is the products that we offer. What I'm trying to say with that, obviously you have the conventional first-time home buyers, your cookie cutter loans, your black and white loans, right? Within Prosperity, we also offer a lot of products that a lot of our competitors don't. For instance, construction to perm loans, lot loans. So there's a lot of loans that we offer that the competition doesn't. So it kind of separates us in the marketplace. And the other piece is we're very, very personable as a bank. And you know who to talk to, and we make decisions at a local level. So that's the beauty about Prosperity.
Yeah, so much to talk about as it relates to homes. And one of the things that seems to be perking up, and you mentioned it earlier, is especially for younger generations, this idea that's floating that it's okay to rent, that buying is not for everyone. Talk about that, because we do have a lot of people who might be watching this who are perhaps torn because they think they cannot afford a home in Houston anymore.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna kind of go back as a president, of Houston Mortgage Bankers Association. We have a lot of economists that come in and they do presentations, and a lot of times realtors will ask that same question.
Yes.
And let me tell you what reality is. I mean, I understand home prices have gone up. I also understand, though, that our kids, that generation, they come out of college and a lot of them make six figures. Okay. Let's put ourselves back in that day. I was in my mid-30s till I started making six figures, right? So I compare my generation at that point with my daughter's generation, right? So virtually no debt. They live at home. They have a good degree, a good job. So, but for whatever reason is, the industry is saying, well, you need 20% down. We know that that's not the reality. You can go in with as little as no money down on specific loans, right? So that should not be, a stopper when you're in the home buying experience. Now, if you feel like you need to hit a pause, that, I need to rent because I need to repair my credit, or I need to rent because I'm not at the income that I need to be, I understand all that. So there's no right or wrong. It's just the amount of time that you're spending in renting versus buying. So the quicker that you get out of that rent space into the home buyer space, more beneficial for that individual.
Very well. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
What I would like to share is, that this conversation here, it's locally in Houston, it's in Texas. And the one thing I'm going to tell you is that we are blessed that we live in a state that it's a relocation sweet spot. Home prices are still affordable, and a lot of people are trying to relocate to Texas for job growth, and obviously, for the cost of living. So we are blessed to be here, and you know what? Don't ever discount that, because that's, half of the battle for other states that we already, have it here baked into what we do every day.
Well, thank you so much, Spiro, for all that you do, and to our friends over at Prosperity Bank. Thank you so much for serving as a corporate partner. We'll see you very soon, and we hope you visit our website for upcoming events, sponsorship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and so much more. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for Hispanic business in our region. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our volunteers, sponsors, board of directors, and staff as we work to advocate for business and for a stronger economy. Learn more by visiting the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com.